All the way from sunny SoCal, and it was sunny today, into 32 million homes and counting. This is America Trends. I'm Barry Nussbaum, filling in tonight for Dr. Gina. Remember our poll question today: will the GOP leadership unite behind Trump? Yes, no? Vote in that poll at youtooamerica.com or use the Youtoo America app, available now for Apple and Android devices. Download it now if you don't have it already. Joining us from another country, Vancouver, Canada, is Leslie Ann Stoffel. Leslie writes at The Real Clear Israel. Leslie, welcome to the show.
Hi, it's great to speak with you.
So good to have you. We've got all these questions about Canada paralleling the United States. Let's talk about your new prime minister to start with. So Trudeau takes over the country, and fairly elected, and he's been making a lot of changes. And one of them you told me about this afternoon, where he's been seen praying in mosque to Mecca dressed as a Muslim, and Muslims are saying that you must be a Muslim in order to do that within the mosque. Am I getting that right, Leslie?
Yes, you are, actually. Before he was even elected, he was videotaped and photographed in a mosque, actually nearby where I am, and I'm wondering, why is there an extremist mosque near me anyway, but there is. And he was visiting this mosque. He was dressed in Islamic garb, which, you know, the long gown and the hat, and there are photographs, I've seen them, and video of him kneeling on the ground in the mosque with the other people praying. He was up on the podium giving some kind of a talk, and this Tariq Fatah, who is a Muslim himself, a Pakistani Muslim who is considered a moderate Muslim here in Canada, he was the one that broke this story and wrote about it and said that only somebody who is actually a Muslim can do this. So we don't know. I mean, is this just a politician wanting to get votes? We don't know. But
well, has he converted?
We don't know. He hasn't come out to say that. But as Tariq Fatah said, that somebody who you have to be a convert or a Muslim, you know, born a Muslim, to do everything he was doing. So, and he's very, very sympathetic to the Islamic cause in our country, just like many other Western leaders now.
Maybe a related story, Leslie. Canada has now withdrawn its Air Force from the coalition that's been attacking ISIS. Why? Have they abandoned the fight?
Well, they haven't necessarily abandoned the fight. This is another issue that has the same parallels to other Western leaders. Trudeau does not want to appear as though he's fighting Islam. So he's pulled out our planes, but a good thing is he's helping the Kurdish people. He's sending humanitarian aid. But he wants to be connected to the UN and this old school role Canada played in the past as a peacekeeping country. Now we're in war. Our leaders don't want to admit it, but we're in wartime, and this isn't a time for peacekeeping. And you can't speak and talk to genocidal maniacs who want to kill you. So this is what we're facing. He also does what Obama does. He calls them ISIL, you know, to get away from calling them the Islamic State. The whole thing, don't let it be known that the Islamic State is Islamic, and that whole thing.
Well, interesting.
That's what he does.
Now, Canada's been excluded from the planning of attacks on ISIS. Does it have to do with this pullout? What's behind that?
Well, we're thinking that it did. I keep track of our conservative media here. Ezra Levant's The Rebel Media, which is one of the only ones that tells the truth anymore. And so when we pulled out, there was a meeting with all the countries that are in the coalition to do this, and our country was left out of this meeting. And so our defense minister stood up and said, oh, well, it was done at the last minute and they couldn't fit us in or something. And that wasn't true. I mean, we knew it was because of our backward role now and perhaps they feel they can't trust us anymore. I don't know.
Does it have anything to do with the comments that Trudeau made about the Boston bombers and sort of the excuse he made for the terrorism that was perpetrated during the marathon?
It very well could, because you see, he has this mindset that, you know, just like
Well, tell
Marie
us what he
Clark-
said. Tell us what he said on that, Pam.
Well, he
Sorry,
said that
Leslie.
the Boston bombers did this because they felt excluded, and you know, we just needed to do more to help them. And how much more could they have been helped? They, you know, so that's his mindset. He doesn't see these as jihadists sticking to a ideology from the Quran. He sees us as these poor little, you know, hard done by, unemployed, whatever, which is, you know, it's all just gaslighting and lies, because it keeps everybody, you know, not knowing what to do about this, because everybody's being lied to all the time.
So Canada has a big influx on Islamic refugees coming into Canada, just like the U.S. Is this part of Trudeau's change in policy? Are these people being vetted any more than the people here are being vetted? I hope for your sake they are.
They aren't. And I will say, before I get into that, I'm going to say this affects my friends in the U.S., because if we have all these unvetted people that are Islamic coming in here, they're going to, where's the first place they're going to head for? The U.S. border,
Which
right?
is unprotected and unfenced and thousands of miles.
Exactly.
Now,
So
I understand.
not vetted, and he sped up the process from 18 months to 3 months for like 10,000 of them, and he was rushing them in, and we were all saying, what is the big rush? Because they were actually not in camps. We were told they were in camps, and they weren't. They were actually living in apartments in Jordan, Turkey, and Lebanon. So they were in safe places. So this had something else behind it. This is part of the hijra, the invasion into the West.
So I talked to you earlier, and you told me there's a movement in Canada to make Canada friends with Iran, the world's leading sponsor of terrorism. Did I hear you correctly? Who's behind this, if indeed that's true?
You did. I was just reading the article I had pulled up about that earlier, okay? We have a new appointed parliamentary secretary to our Minister of Foreign Affairs. He was, his name is Omar Al-Ghabra, and he was appointed by Trudeau. Now, Trudeau also believes this. They believe that engaging with Iran, just like other Western countries, or he calls them our allies, are doing now, is going to help human rights. Here's what it says. Omar Al-Ghabra, the Parliamentary Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs, defends the policy of Trudeau's government, which announced its plans to restore the diplomatic relations with Iran. And we had a debate in our parliament about this, and the Conservative government was asking, you know, they're the state sponsor of terror, they sponsor Hezbollah, they sponsor Hamas, and actually this Omar Al-Ghabra guy has been sympathetic to Hamas and Hezbollah in the past.
Leslie, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for being with us. I wish we had more time to hear about it. Up next, more America Trends, a lot of good stuff coming up. Please stick around, be with us.